welcome to the Mooringfield Morning Report.
I'm Evan.
And I'm Joey.
And we are the Greenbirds. First, Joey with news.
This has been a busy week and a half. I am getting my doctorate right now, so I'm in the middle of writing chapter 2 of my dissertation. I also just finished the first half of the Army's senior leader course, so it's been a long couple days of just school nonstop. Next up in news, we started wearing sunscreen again. We had been neglecting that for probably like the last year. We just haven't been wearing sunscreen unless we're going to be out on the water all day long. So we started wearing sunscreen again. Thank you, Mom. Next, the St. John Seafood Festival just happened. We had high hopes. We heard a nice little radio broadcast about this event and all the vendors they were going to have. It was in St. John, so the other day I finished up work. It was the last day of that Army course. We were all excited. So we get in the dinghy, load it up, go to St. John, and it was a really nice trip over. We're pulling up, we're all excited. We walked down the road to the seafood festival, and this is what we saw. So there were only a couple tables open. The music was extraordinarily loud. There was one food truck, and we got conch fritters from there, and those were actually very good. I would say those were probably worth the trip over. But overall, St. John Seafood Festival, it was a disappointment. Maybe we went at the wrong time of day. We're not exactly sure, but maybe next year will be. Next, boat stuff. We had been driving around with a dead battery in the dinghy. That dead battery came from the big boat. And before we tossed it out, we were like, well, let's just check it to see if it works. So we plugged it into the dinghy, and it worked fine. We've been running that in the dinghy for days now. So the battery still had juice in it, which means that there might be a bigger issue with the big boat, and we suspect it could be the starter.
We replaced the starter as one of the first things we did when we bought the boat, because the previous owner said that the starter's no good. So maybe this need a new starter, or maybe the wiring somewhere is a little corroded. So the easiest thing would have been just getting a new battery, which we've done before, and it's just buy a new one, and now you have a working boat. But now we have to do a little bit more tracing and work and troubleshooting. So we'll figure it out. Always keeps us busy.
The last time we spoke with you, the throttle cables of the Whaley had rusted through and basically just snapped. So Evan replaced those the other day, but over the last week we realized that the big boat, we were turning the wheel just to move the rudder around a little bit, and the wheel just turned and turned and turned. Usually it takes 18 turns to get from one side to the next, and it didn't stop turning, which means the hydraulic steering has failed. We don't know if it's a fluid issue or if the cables have also snapped in the big boat. Unlike in the Whaley, where it's super easy, you can see them, pop them out, pop them in. In the big boat, we are pretty much clueless with how to fix this. The reason that's an issue is because when we go to get hauled out, or if we are getting towed someplace, it's good to have some sort of steering, and we don't have that right now. I don't think we actually have a plan to be able to get that fixed.
No, it's probably when we get hauled out, something we can fix. I was reading you could just take out the hydraulic unit and send it somewhere to get serviced, which we could do, but I don't know if it's the hydraulic unit is the issue or if it's the cables connecting it or what. We've had a leak sometimes when we have moved the boat and been steering a lot. Some hydraulic fluid would leak out from where the steering wheel enters into that unit, so that's probably the bad seal, but I don't know how to fix that. When we got that survey when we bought the boat, and on the survey it says, don't even try fixing this yourself, just take it to a professional. So that's probably what we'll have to do. So
if anybody has any tips, spoon drifters, if you're listening, I know you guys must have dealt with this with your Morgan. If anybody who is watching this knows what the issue could be, please put it in our comments, because we are clueless. The last bit of news is that Evan changed the oil in the small dinghy. I went to work and came back and the oil was just changed. Usually this is we kind of have to tag team this to get the engine off of the small dinghy. We beach it first, pull the engine off, put it on the back of his truck, and then he does the oil change. But this time he did the whole thing by himself. It was awesome. Good job.
Thank you. It was really quite easy.
Yeah, how much did we pay last time to have it done?
Yeah, we paid the mechanic like $700 to do this, and they charged us for like 3 hours of labor. It took me like 45 minutes while I was going slow and listening to podcasts and stuff. Like, I can't I can't imagine a professional. This took 3 hours and a professional shop with all the right tools. So got kind of ripped off there. We'll be doing this on our own from now on. It's really quite simple. So good skill to have, saving us money, keeping the dinghy running good. When I started back up, it started on the first pull, real easy, real smooth, running great.
Good job, Evan.
Thank you.
Next up, Evan with sports.
The world of Virgin Islands sports, where there's a lot going on. We been doing the archery. Archery has been going great. We pushed the target back to 20 meters. We were doing 10 for a while. That's like just a safe, easy, fun distance. You don't lose any arrows. It's really close. Pushed back to 15, and we're just getting all bullseyes. So now I pushed back to 20, and Joey is still getting all bullseyes. I'm, a more even distribution, but it's a lot of fun. Joey's using the finger guard and the counterweight on hers now. I'm still kind of working up to that.
But we usually go on Saturdays, and so there's a beginner's clinic. There are a bunch of kids there. Now that we've started going during the week as well, we're getting a lot more feedback from the coach. And so Evan was getting some good feedback about his elbow coming back straight.
Yeah,
and then
up, straight.
And then you touch your neck when you're done. Yeah. It's been fun.
It's a good time. What else in sports? Oh, the Hobie racing at the yacht club. There was a big fun race. It was the end of the winter series, and they did a little celebration race around Great St. James. So we got to sail all around this island in the Hobie in a little race. I didn't do so good in it. I'm new to racing. I don't know much of it. I got the little buoy course down, understand that, but around the whole island, the wind shifts around the hills and up and over the hills and stuff, and there's current. I didn't know how current works. I was just fighting against the current the entire time.
But he's so confident. Like when you were leaving for that race, you were like, I have a plan. The wind is this way, the current's this way, so I'm going to go this way around the rock.
It proved to be incorrect. I thought the current was going this way, it was going that way, so I was stuck in the current for quite a while, but it was a good fun time, and everyone who raced had a great time, so we'll probably incorporate that into the races moving forward, because it's just a fun time.
And there was a bunch of Islanders trading that took place, right?
There was, Joey. Who was traded?
Matt Barzell.
No.
Brian.
No.
Give me the first. Josh.
Brock
Nelson.
Brock Nelson got traded. He was the number one trade deadline target for the NHL. So he was moved. We got a good young asset from the Colorado Avalanche and their draft pick next year. So it was a good trade. We're going to miss Brock Nelson. He's been an Islander through and through. But there's no more Brocktober on Long Island. We'll be doing that in Colorado, which is fine. Talking about esports, we talked about the Arena Open last time where we had the chance to win $500,000 to $2,000. I got pretty close to that. I got pretty much as close as you can get to it without getting money. Maximum heartbreak, maximum pain from that experience. I was basically up all night Saturday trying to qualify for day 2. Made day 2, did well in the first draft on day 2, and then on the second draft I just messed up. So it was basically all of that weekend where I could have been doing fun stuff and fixing the boats that needed to be fixed.
Well, we still did some fun stuff. Usually, if he's having a gaming weekend, I'll just drive to all the places we're going so that he can game in the car. We go do the activity, and then I drive back. So it still kind of works.
Yeah, it does.
You got cut in day 2.
Yeah. I did not make the cut, but that's okay. But just a couple nights ago, there was a little thing where you could compete for real cards. You enter this little event, and if you win 6 times in a row, they send you 2 boxes of real Magic cards, each worth about $125 a pop. So I won that, got all these cards that'll be sent somewhere, who knows. I don't know if they could even send them here, but it was fun, it was a good time, and it feels good to win.
Very impressive.
That's the world of sports. Next up, we have Joey with the flora and fauna update.
This week has been jam-packed with a bunch of different animals. It's been incredible. So first, the turtles around here, I guess they like us. We don't usually jump in the water and harass them. They will surface right next to the boat and look us in the eye, give us a little wave. It's so much fun. They are all over the place. The other day, I finally did go snorkeling with them. So cool to watch. They just nibble on the seagrass beneath the boat, come up and get their little breath of air, and then go back down. really cool creatures to watch. Also, it must be eagle ray mating season because the eagle rays are jumping all over the place. Now, these are impossible, basically, for us to catch on camera because basically you hear two splashes. So the first splash is them exiting the water, and you look over, and then you see them up in the air and re-entering the water. It's crazy. So they've been jumping all over the place, zooming all around in the shadows and in the shallows, and you can see the difference in their like shadow under the water between them and the turtles, and it's so cool. So we've been watching them zoom up and down the coastline. Really good time of year in St. Thomas right now. And then lastly, we went snorkeling in a new spot the other day. Mom and Zora, we were doing a little recon on this spot for when you guys get here. And this spot was super neat, pretty unsuspecting. I don't think we expected very much. But we get in the water, really good snorkel. We saw some squid, of course a bunch of fish. The coolest thing was we're going along, looking at the rocks and stuff, and I'm like, that's a funny rock. It was a nurse shark. It was a huge nurse shark that was just sleeping on the bottom. I didn't notice him until I was right over him, basically. It was so cool, and so we watched this guy for a while. He was like wedged between two rocks, and the current was just kind of bobbing him around a little bit. So peaceful. So we got to watch him for a while. It was fantastic. And that's the Flora and Fauna update. Next, we have Evan with an update on the weather and the garden.
Yeah, it's been beautiful weather here in the Virgin Islands. The wind shifted from the south a little bit in the middle of the week, and it got really hot here because we don't get good breeze from the south, especially at the yacht club where I was working and Joey was doing her army course. So it just got really hot. We were cooking there, but the wind shifted back, and now it's back to normal 15, 20 mile an hour winds. The water's warming up a little bit. It was really cold, but now it's getting a little bit warmer, which is a sign that it's spring has sprung.
And tell us about the garden, Evan.
Yes, the garden. So the kale is doing amazing. I just started watering it more, just giving it more and more water, and it's just growing faster and faster and faster. We had our first harvest, what was that, 2 days ago?
It was great.
Amazing.
Evan made lasagna soup. The recipe calls for spinach, but we used the kale instead, and it was so tasty.
There's a turtle right there. The turtle?
I don't see him.
Oh, he just swam down.
Oh.
You missed him.
That's okay.
But yeah, the kale's doing great. I just harvested like a couple of the bottom leaves. We got this whole big bowl for us to use, so there's so much more, and it's doing great.
And we would like to take you back with us to the garden to do a live taste test.
Oh, we're doing
Let's
it.
go. So tell us what varieties we have.
This is the regular kale, the dinosaur kale, and the red kale. All of them doing very well. I thought the red kale was not growing as fast, but it turns out I was just not giving it as much water because I would start from left to right. So now I go right to left, and it's got plenty of water.
All right, this is a regular kale.
Push up. Oh, yeah, it's bitter.
But it's not that bad.
It's like a kale chip or in a soup or something, but maybe even like massaged with nice olive oil and a salad would be okay. But
It kind of tastes like the tops of some other vegetable you might eat. Or like, no, it tastes like the outside of a Brussels sprout. That's what it is. Like
Yeah,
the bitter
yeah.
outside leaf that you normally peel off. But it's not bad.
which one's that?
Thank you. That was good, Evan.
Red kale?
Where's the elephant kale?
You got that one.
Oh,
Dinosaur kale.
dinosaur kale? Oh, here you go.
It's a little baby
Next is
leaf.
dinosaur kale. This is the littlest leaf ever that he gave us.
The baby ones are better.
Okay.
Let's go. That's a tasty leaf.
Yeah, dinosaur kale. That's pretty good. All right, and the last one, the red kale. Thank you. That's not good. That's too bitter.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Less good than the regular kale. Maybe we'll just do all dinosaur kale next time. It's just tastier.
We could, but the variety's kind of nice, and they look very beautiful. People who know us and know the boat, they've complimented the garden on the back of the boat, which is very sweet. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. That was your Mooring Field Morning Report.
We're the Greenbirds, signing off.